Hi everyone, I'm out in the garden again today and I'm going to be doing some harvesting. I know I just was out here doing a harvest video, but I realized after that video was over that I completely forgot about some of the stuff that I had out here, so we're going to be going around and harvesting some of that today. I know I have some watermelon radishes out here and also some turnips, and then I'm probably going to go around and pick some greens as well. So we got 4 eggs today. Our Americanas still have not laid any eggs yet. They're, I think, about like 32 weeks old. So we're waiting on them. It's got a bunch of freeloaders around here, huh? I'm here in our first raised bed on the right side. It's kind of a mess with this frost fabric. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to keep the deer away from our vegetables in any way that I can. But anyway, here's a little look at what we have going on one side of the bed. All of these leaves that look kind of dead are the tops of our watermelon radishes, and even though the leaves look really bad, the radishes underneath should be fine. We haven't had cold enough temperatures for our ground to freeze, and actually this time of year, this cold ground is the perfect place to just store your root vegetables as long as it doesn't freeze. So we've got some good sized ones here, and I'm just going to pull them out just because these leaves look really bad and these are not really going to grow anymore past this. So I can just pick them now and feed the greens to our chickens today. A lot of these are on the small side because I already went through this bed and thinned out the larger radishes earlier in the season, probably closer to like early fall. So all of these are just the ones that were left behind to grow out a little bit more. This one's got a crazy thick stem, but such a small root. Usually when that happens, they're pretty pithy inside, so I'm not sure that this one will be good to eat. But all of these nice small ones should be really nice. And if you've never seen the inside of a watermelon radish, they are so gorgeous. They have such a beautiful like hot pink color on the inside, and you would never know it from the outside, because from the outside they look so plain. This is a really nice sized one, and they should get to a pretty big size like this if they have enough space and if you grow them a little bit earlier. I took all the tops off the radishes, and this is what we ended up with. In the front here, I also have arugula, which is doing so great. Arugula does so well in the cold weather. And we did have salad greens over here, but they all died because they're a little bit more tender. But arugula will keep on surviving all winter. It might not look good, but it'll come back in the spring, and then once the warm weather comes, it will bolt. I'm going to pick some of this so we can enjoy it, because this is the prime season for us to grow arugula, and then we can have a nice arugula salad with those. Some of these leaves are so big, but arugula is pretty peppery and spicy, so I think this size is a little too mature for us. They're much better when they're like nice baby greens. They're a little bit more tender and less spicy. So we got a nice bowl of arugula here. It's so fresh and crisp, and hopefully it's a little sweeter since we've had some nice cold weather. And then I'm going to move on to the next bed. Here are some of our purple top turnips, and you can see that they're a lot more cold hardy than the watermelon radishes. These greens still look really nice, and I think these would be fine in the ground for a while longer. And they are just absolutely gorgeous. They're so big. This is actually our first year growing turnips, and they're a little hard to get started at first because of the pest pressure. We had a lot of harlequin bugs this year that killed some of my seedlings, but the ones that survived clearly are doing really well. Even though these can stay in the ground for a while, I want to cook these tonight. We're gonna have a quiche, and I want to try making mashed turnips, kind of like how you would make mashed potatoes. And I'm really excited to try that since we've never grown turnips before, and we haven't eaten them too much either. For the first two, I'm very happy with the size of those. They look so good. Oh, I accidentally popped out this carrot that was in there. I didn't even know. This is a Parisian carrot, I guess. It's that really short, squatty carrot. So that's a nice little bonus. I think this is the biggest of the purple turnips. So pretty. Here are the turnips that I just pulled up. How exciting is that? They are so much bigger than I thought they would get, and I'm pretty pleased with that for our first try. After I had come across those couple of random carrots that I forgot about, I remembered that I had sowed another spot of carrots, so I decided to go pick those. Last week when I went around harvesting things, I did harvest a lot of carrots, and I was really happy with that, and these are the same kinds of carrots. These are Danvers half-longs. And some of them are a little bit smaller here, but I also got a couple of big ones, so I'm pretty happy with that. And we've been snacking on those carrots that we picked last time, and they are really good, nice and crisp and sweet. I also found a couple of radishes in this area. You can tell that during the summer I kind of just go around anywhere where there is space and sow lots of little root vegetables like this that don't take up a lot of space. By the time it's fall, I get nice little surprises everywhere in the garden when I just find things to harvest that I've completely forgotten about, which is awesome. Next, I'm going to be picking some spinach from the back area of our garden. I showed this briefly in that last harvest video, but I didn't pick any spinach that day because I didn't need any. But today for the quiche, I'm going to be doing a mushroom and greens quiche, so I think that this spinach will be perfect for that. I'm going to go around and try and pick the best looking leaves. These plants really don't look that big, but once you get picking, it is pretty easy and fast to fill up a whole bowl of spinach. And you might be able to see that some of these leaves do have holes in them. They're a little bit chewed on by slugs, but it's really not that big a deal. I just try and pick the best looking leaves, and if there are a couple of holes, that's okay as long as I make sure to wash any actual slugs out. And I did find one of those culprits on one of the leaves as I was picking, and it was really gross. I really hate slugs in the garden. They are so annoying and I can't seem to get rid of them. So we kind of just have to live with them and work around them as best as we can. I ended up with a pretty good amount of spinach, maybe half of that bowl that I brought out. But I know that spinach does shrink a lot when you cook it, so I also decided to go and pick some other greens to kind of bulk this up a little bit more. And in this area, I have a bunch of different greens here. I have things like Swiss chard and a couple of varieties of kale. I have like a curly leaf kale and also a lacinato dinosaur kale. And these things are not really actively growing too much right now because of the cold and the shorter daylight hours, but they are definitely surviving down there, so I'm picking whatever I can find to add to my bowl of greens, and I ended up with a really beautiful selection of different vibrant colors and textures. And along with the arugula, this is plenty of greens for the week for us. And here is the final harvest that we ended up with. You know, as much as I love the summer garden and fresh tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchini, I also really love all of the things that you can grow in the fall. During the summer, I do usually have withdrawal from having fresh greens because we can't grow lettuce and spinach in the summer. It's just way too hot for us, so it's really nice to be able to have these things that have their own season and to be able to utilize the garden in different times of the year. This is the finished meal that we ended up with some of this stuff. We have a quiche with some of those greens along with our mashed turnips, which turned out really delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed another harvest video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.